I've done on YouTube. It's kind of a mystery to me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I'm moving the camera around trying to see what would be a decent background. I was hoping to get those pretty purple plants behind me in the picture, but to do so means getting somebody else's roof way more than I want, so we'll just turn it toward the tree a little bit. Such are the rigors of living in South Minneapolis. So anyway, what I've been contemplating this morning is the idea of forgiveness and failure. Sometimes I think that we question our own sense of values when it comes to both of those topics, and really maybe they overlap. It's like if we lose a loved one because somebody has done something really wrong, maybe drunk driving, impaired driving, distracted driving, a shooting, gang initiations, whatever it might be. It could be totally a good reason to be pissed off that somebody has killed our loved one, right? I get that. But at some point, we probably think it's a failure. It's like a symbol of our inability to stay loyal to the memory of our loved one if we forgive the person who's taken them from Earth School. But I don't think it's a failure, It's like, was Christ dying on the cross a failure? Was Buddha sitting under a tree with a begging bowl a failure? Was Gandhi being shot a failure? Was Martin Luther King being murdered a failure? I mean, come on, really? What is the true message that comes from losing somebody, whether or not they're famous? Isn't the point, Uh, we live in a society where now we have a chance to be known because of technology before we die. We don't have to wait to die for someone to like our poetry. We don't have to wait 2 or 3 generations. We don't have to be rich to be discovered, if you will. It's like Napoleon Bonaparte. He helped nudge us in the right direction as far as the aristocracy being the only ones that would get any good media. The only time that people could have a chance of making money in Europe was if they were part of the aristocracy, or at least a landowner. I think we know that history in America too, but Bonaparte made it possible for people that were simply skilled at anything to be viewed equally. So he made some headway for us there, and a lot of us probably forget our history or maybe don't even know about it. But, ultimately I'm back to this idea of what is a failure. I looked at my life like I've been a failure in so many areas. I failed to successfully complete drug and alcohol treatment when I was 19, and when I was 20, I drove under the influence and I killed someone's child. It was a stolen car, but the stolen car didn't make me do it. My selfishness made me do that. And I think it's endemic of the alcoholic or the addict to be totally obsessed with the next drink, the next drug, whatever it is, and it translates into it's all about me. Selfishness is our problem. Drinking wasn't our problem. Thinking was our problem. And drinking was just a symptom of that problem. So how do we get back to the source of the problem? Where did our thinking go awry, and how are we going to use that today? We need to get it through the head of every human being alive, is that no matter what has happened, we can use it for good now, in the here and now. In God's economy, nothing is wasted. So what happens to forgiveness? What happens to the concept of failure? Did somebody fail when they did the wrong that they did? Yeah, what's wrong is wrong. It'll always be wrong what I did. I get that. But what am I doing with it now? Our greatest failures can be, what opens the door to the greatest success in our lives and the lives of others. Using the dismal past is something useful for someone else. You know, not viewing other people as a failure can be quite a challenge if we don't want to grow in life. Then don't get in a relationship, because the relationship is going to really show you all the tests that are available to you to grow you as a human being. And likewise, I think driving can do that too. If you want to find out what your shortcomings are, get in a car and drive across the city and see how you react to other people. Sartre, the existential philosopher, said hell is other people. And I didn't accept that on its face. I don't accept anything on its face. I'm not cynical, but I am critical. I'm willing to dissect an idea. That's what I mean by critical. I'm a critical thinker, not a cynical thinker. I don't assume the worst. But I didn't make any sense of that quote, hell is other people. I thought, well, I try to be a loving person. How does this apply to me? And then, of course, one day it occurred to me, oh, hell is other people. Other, the concept of other drivers, other people, the people we're in relationship is, even if we're one with them, that's the general idea, to kind of merge and become one entity, I guess. I don't know of a better word. When people get married, that's the general idea behind it, is becoming one, legally, truly committing. But I don't like putting the stamp of social approval on a relationship, really. There's more to it than that. It's of the heart. But boy, it'll test your patience, right? It'll test your integrity. It'll test so many things. Are you going to stay true? Are you going to be loyal? Are you going to be honest? Are you going to be transparent with that person? Are you going to let them see all your warts and defects and things we don't want to share with others? But as we're driving, right, we see our own defects. I don't know necessarily, I shouldn't speak for others, but most of the people I talk to report being upset with how other people drive, other people, right? Like they're a better driver than them. But in reality, when somebody gets in front of our car, we can either say they got in front of our car or they cut us off. Which is it going to be? How are we viewing life? Are we victims? They cut us off? Or did they just not notice us? We're in their blind spot, or they're in a huge hurry because somebody is sick or whatever. And it doesn't give people a license to drive unsafely, but just changing the way we view the concept of others. They're not failing to follow the rules of the rules of the road. So this failure thing comes up. And even if they did fail, what do? We forgive them. We turn their so-called failure into our opportunity for spiritual growth. So worst case scenario, when something difficult happens in our life, we become students of life. As the Buddha said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. the lead singer of Metallica, I always forget his name, Hatfield, I think it was, said, boredom comes from a boring mind. So we take possession of our own mind and quit letting other people possess our minds. It's one thing to open the door and allow other people's ideas in and to feel their presence when it is loving and caring and compassionate. But when somebody's angry with us, we don't have to let that in. We can use it as a lesson to grow and to maybe not make a mistake we've made because they might be justifiably angry. But what we do with it is the point. Is there a message? Is there a way for us to grow? Or are we just going to be pissed off and start finger pointing? And, it's a difficult subject, and it's something I would like to blog on: failure and forgiveness. So let me know what you think. My very first video, I'm outside using a headset, so hopefully the traffic, and been really lucky, no planes have gone by. Usually we have 4 or 5 planes come by in a half hour, depending on what day it is, I guess. But I love you all. Take care. Remember, tell at least 3 people a day that you love them, and if you don't, you probably wasted a day of your life. Peace out. Bye.